Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you guys don't know what book we're reading, All That We Never Were by Alice Kellen. Why do I want to say Clellen? Anyways, we're going to be focusing on Axel's chapter, which is chapter 19. So it goes like this. Sorry, it's on page 70. When I spoke to Oliver that night, I didn't tell him anything that happened in the afternoon. When I hung up, I realized that I was hardly telling him any of the things that were taking place under his roof, where we lived, and which things only had the importance that we wanted to give them. And despite everything, Leah and I got along well with each other. We could get angry and have dinner like two civilized people, or spend days without saying more than a few words to each other. And it wasn't weird. Somehow we fit together. Even with sadness that was eating away at her and the desperation I was starting to feel. Because if there was one flaw I had, it was impatience. Definitely, I relate. One water bottle done for the day. I've never been the type to wait. I remember when I was little, I wanted to buy a remote control car, and I pressed my parents about it for days. My brother had been begging them for months to take him to get a board game. So boring, I rolled my eyes as hard as I heard its name. And so, according to my childhood logic, one afternoon I took my brother's piggy bank, stole all the money out of it, and put it back without anyone noticing. My parents took me to get the car, thinking I was spending my own savings, and Oliver and I played with the toy on all the roads and trails behind our home, setting obstacles with stones, tree trunks, and leaves to see if it could climb them. For weeks I saved the money I made for good behavior or doing chores, and little by little I put it back in Justin's piggy bank. That's what I call a good brother. A generous brother, okay? At that. When he decided to buy what he wanted, I had sold the car, now half destroyed, to a kid from school, and he wasn't missing even a cent. The moral of the story is, why wait till tomorrow to get something you can have today? At that moment, my impatience was killing me for Leah because I needed to see her smile. Later on in that day, the next day, when she got up, I noticed the bags under her eyes. Rough night? Kind of. Stay home. Rest. Are you giving me permission to skip school? No, you're old enough to know if you need to go to class, but if you want my opinion, I think you'll be wasting your time staring at the chalkboard without grasping anything, because you look like you're about to fall over. Sometimes it's better to gather your strength before diving back in. Leah went back to bed. I spent a while in the waves before returning home and making a sandwich. I sat down on my desk to try and make some headway on work I had left aside the day before to go get the easel that was now gathering dust on my backyard or back porch. I wrote down on a piece of paper my upcoming deadlines and pinned it beside the calendar. Then I got to work on some commissions until Leah came back out of her room at mid-morning. Did you get some rest? A little. Is there any milk left? I don't know. I need to go to the store. Maybe, maybe I could go with you. Sure, I could use the help. And I was happy to get her out of there, so she'd at least have a bit of fresh air. I concentrated on the most important job while she sat at the bar eating breakfast. When I was done, to my surprise, she came around the desk and bent over my shoulder to see what I was doing. "What is it?" she asked, squeezing her brows. "I'm offended you asked." It's a kangaroo's ears. Kangaroos don't have ears that long. I realized our first trivial question or conversation was going to revolve around the length of kangaroo ears. I asked her to grab a stool from the kitchen and sat down next to me, elbow to elbow, elbow to elbow. I laid out the drawings in front of her. "The deal is this. Mr. Kangaroo has to tell the kids why it's bad to throw trash on the ground, leave the water running, or eat burgers until you poop, or either pop." Leah blinked, her brows still knit. What's that got to do with its ears?" "It's a cartoon, Leah. Doing it that way makes it feel easy. You know, exaggeration, like giving it big feet or little rat arms. Kangaroos don't laugh like this in the real world either." I pointed to the glimmering white teeth I had drawn in one of the panels and saw how a smile trembled on Leah's lips before suddenly disappearing, as if she had realized it and taken a step back. I wanted to keep her a little longer by my side because the alternative was watching her shut herself up in her room. "What do you think of my artistic gifts?" She tilted her head, though. "Oh, sighed. I thought you were wasting your talent. I think you're wasting your talent." This from the girl who stopped painting? She gave me a harsh look, and I felt relieved to see her react, giving an immediate response, cause and effect. Maybe that was the deal. Grab onto the string and start pulling it tighter and tighter. "So, what's your excuse?" she replied. I raised an eyebrow. "I didn't see that coming." "I don't know what you're talking about. You want a coffee?" She shook her head as I got up to the kitchen. I served myself a cup, cold, and sat down beside her at the desk again. I showed her a few other jobs, the most recent ones I'd done, and she listened attentively without asking more questions or taking any particular interest in anything. Being with her was easy, comfortable, like all the things I loved in life. I went on working, and she grabbed her headphones and walked out to the back porch while I drew the background of trees behind Mr. Kangaroo. I couldn't stop looking at her, because there, with her back turned, with her elbows leaning on the wooden railing, listening to music, she looked so fragile, so diffused, so vague. That was the first time I felt the quiver. That's nice. Leah is starting to, express her humor, and I feel like that's so amazing. My camera is dying again, but I have a charged battery next to me, and I have another one over there. I have 3 in total, so we're good. But I'm gonna be back to continue reading this chapter, so yeah. I'll see you guys in a little bit. Stay tuned. Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be reading All That We Never Were by Alice Kellen. So this is a beautiful book to die for. It's so beautiful, so freaking beautiful. So colorful too. I just bought this book yesterday. Oh wait, why am I even doing my intro when I'm continuing to read? Whatever. So freaking beautiful. I just bought this book yesterday and I'm on 74. Page 74. That's how good this book is. Page 74, which is Axel's POV, I believe. Yes, ma'am. It's Axel's POV. But at the time, I didn't know that tingling sensation in my fingers and my fingertips meant I wanted to draw her, capture her in lines, and keep her for myself. Grab hold of her fingers covered in paint. I couldn't manage to capture her as she was live, whole, until much later. I left after half an hour, pulled off her headphones, and put them on. She was listening to something. With the first chords, that bassed like a carpet under the notes, I realized it had been ages since I heard the Beatles. I swallowed and thought of Douglas in his studio telling me how to feel, how to live, how to be the person I was in that moment. And I asked myself if there was a part of me that had turned my back on that. I took off the headphones and handed them back. Are we still on for going to the store together? Question mark. Later on in that day, we drove into the city in the opposite end. I'm guessing they're going to the store now. I parked almost at the door. We entered the supermarket. I was correct. And we walked together up the aisles. Leah grabbed some cookies for breakfast and white bread without crust. Without crust. What are you doing? That's almost offensive. Everyone hates the crust, she responded. I love the crust. What's the point of bread that's white all over with nothing to break the I don't know. Fuck that. You eat the edges first, then you go for the center. I watched a timid smile across her face before the curtain of blonde hair came between us and she bent over to grab a package of spaghetti. 20 minutes later at the register, I realized Leah was relaxed, as if the clouds always circling around her head had cleared up a little, and I told myself I had to figure out a way to get her out of the house more. Pull her away from the apathy. I don't remember how to pronounce it. I always had a hard time trying to pronounce words like that. That covered her every day. Next month, things would change. Even if I didn't have a plan, when we walked outside, we almost tripped over a girl with round brown eyes who had her dark hair in a ponytail on top of her head. She smiled at Leah with a caring look and waved her hands as she spoke. What a coincidence! I just called to see if you were okay since you were at school, but I remembered you don't have Leah didn't react, so I buttoned in. A cell phone? Right, my name's Blair. We already know each other though. I didn't remember her. I'd met several of Leah's friends when I used to see her out and about surrounded by other girls going from town to the beach, from the beach to town, without a care in the world, laughing like a kid. Pleasure, I'll explain. I didn't sleep well, Leah managed to say. I hear you. Still though, if you're up for that coffee. She's up for it, I said. Leah tried to kill me with her eyes. I came here to pick up some shampoo, but I'm not busy. She isn't either. I gave Leah a bit of cash. Go get a bite to eat together. I've got stuff to do. We'll meet back here in half an hour. Sorry, in an hour. I saw panic swirling in her eyes as part of me wanted to make it disappear, but the other part was happy. God damn it. I swallowed my compassion and turned my back on that silent plea her lips didn't manage to utter. And that was the end of Axel's POV. So now we're going into Leah's POV, which is chapter 20, and that's going to be on page 76. So if you guys want to see that, stay tuned to my channel, and you'll definitely see that video. So yeah, I'm so excited to keep continuing reading this book and see how things unfold or fold. Yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you guys stay tuned. If you guys haven't checked out my last videos, go check them out, please. I will be thankful for your support. I will be grateful. I'm thankful for your support already. So yeah, that's all I have to say. Hopefully you guys have a good night. It's about to be 5 o'clock in the afternoon. But I don't know your time zone. Have a good rest of your week, and I'll see you guys later. Bye guys.